Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Rookies of the Year podcast. We got our co-hosts Rob and Josh. I'm Javi. We're going to talk a little NBA playoff action, talk a little Brock Purdy, talk a little bit about the Mets, and we're going to talk a little bit of 2024 redraft at the end. That's going to be our rookie segment of the week here. Let's dive right in. We're going to start with the game last night. We'll recap that after. I want to kind of hear you guys' overall expectations for this series, the Thunder and the Timberwolves. We're going to start out west. Guys, give me your prediction. Give me your overall expectations for this series. We'll start with Rob, then we'll go to Josh, then I'll finish up. Rob, you're muted. Let's try that again. Josh, start us off while Rob's fixing this.
All right, so I am going to go ahead and take Thunder in 6. Just taking into account last night's game, I thought they played at least a horrible first half. The Thunder did. Looked to just completely like a different team, like they did a few times last series against the Nuggets. Just fell out flat to start the half. I thought the Timberwolves did great. They were playing physical. They were meeting the physicality of OKC, getting offensive rebounds, doing a great job of putting pressure on Oklahoma City's ball handlers and their pick and roll, pick and pops they run. So shout out to the Timberwolves for doing that. But then Oklahoma City came out firing in that second half, which made me feel much better as a fan about this series. I do think they'll handedly take it unless they fold like they had in that first half. But if they were able to ramp it up, I think they can do it again.
Okay. Let me hear it, Rob.
All right, Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang, what's up, man? How you doing? I had my mic muted on purpose. Had to do it for the dramatics. Thunder Wolves, game 1. The very physical first half, just kind of what you expect. Got a little chippy. Thunder came out really flat. Shea didn't have a very good first half, but he got to the free throw line, whether it was ethical or not. That's another story for another day. The Timberwolves are putting up a ton of threes. They were really getting out and just firing from 3. The Thunder didn't put up too many threes, but they don't really need to. They got out in transition. They weren't able to much in the first half, but the second half they really came out with a lot of energy. They were locking up on defense, getting out in transition, getting some easy buckets. And then of course they were getting those contested buckets with Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They both got hot late there in the third quarter when they went on a huge run to put them up by double digits. Interesting. The Thunder have been on 106. They've had 106 runs this season of at least 10-0 or more.
That's crazy.
106. That is the most all time, obviously, or at least the most since they started tracking it. But the Thunder, man, when they just get out and start playing with energy, locking in on defense, getting easy transition buckets, they're just tough to stop. And then the Timberwolves is kind of what I expected. Julius Randle had a very good game. Anthony Edwards didn't play too well. And then other than that, they didn't really get much contributions out of anyone.
Rob, what's your season or what's your series prediction?
Thunder in 5. I'm going to stick with that.
Damn. Quick and easy series.
I just think they're a much better team than Minnesota. No disrespect. They have good players and stuff, but when you only have 2 guys that are really like a threat on any given night, I mean, obviously Jaden McDaniels is going to have his games where he gives you 25, 30. Naz Reid is going to have his good games off the bench. But for Minnesota to win, I feel like they need all 4 of those guys really to be putting up points. And then the Thunder's defense is just too good.
Yeah, I got Thunder taking it in 6 games. I think Anthony Edwards might will his team to 2 games to win in this series, but I think the Thunder are just way too good. They're just a class above the Timberwolves. Thunder are minus 375 to win this series, and a lot of people are taking that what Rob said in Oklahoma City finishing it in 5 games. I thought yesterday was kind of like what we're going to see in this series is Shea's going to have big second halves. We're going to have kind of like they got in transition. They were getting stops. When that team gets those stops and they're in transition, they're the best team in the league defensively. That they just are better at the end of the day. And I thought OKC they got their feet wet in the first half, and then they really just kind of found their own in the second half. So um, I want to talk a little bit about the significance for both these teams if they do get their first finals appearance, and it would be over 10 years for OKC. Couldn't tell you the last time that the Timberwolves made a finals appearance.
Yeah.
We'll start with I want Josh to go over what it would mean for the Thunder, and then we'll have Rob talk about what it would mean for the Timberwolves. But yeah, two up and coming franchises. What would it mean for them to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals, have a chance to win one? Josh, we'll start with you.
I mean, it would be absolutely huge. It would be not our, but it would be the Thunder second finals appearance, and it's short history. I personally keep it separate from the Sonics.
Yeah.
That obviously is very big for the franchise, and it's looking like our best opportunity to win one, honestly, because I mean, there was a shot, but Miami was pretty stacked that year. So it does feel pretty good for Oklahoma and for Oklahoma City fans. And it feels like everybody's pretty excited because it feels wide open. Of course, they could fall short. They're a young team. We've seen it happen before as Oklahoma City fans, but it would be very significant. And I mean, Shane Coe to bring home this a title this year, I think that would instantly make him our franchise go. And
For sure.
I don't know, feels pretty good. It was a nice scene in my mind.
Rob, what would it mean for the Timberwolves?
All right. So Minnesota, they've never made the finals in their entire franchise history, even when they had Kevin Garnett. They've had some good teams in the past. They've been to three conference finals, never been to the finals. So obviously, if they were to do this, it would be massive for the city. Even for the current NBA landscape. I mean, Anthony Edwards, every big game he has, it seems like people are putting him in top five talks, calling him the face of the league. If they were to actually go to the finals and win, I mean, it's hard to argue. Because in order for that to happen, I think Ant would have to go absolutely nuclear. Because I just think the teams that they're playing against are better. So, I mean, say Ant averages a 30-point triple double in the finals and they win the championship, he's probably face of the league.
Easily.
And what that does for Minnesota, and what that would do for Minnesota, I mean, they would be one of the most marketed teams in the league. Just think about like I don't want to compare Anthony Edwards to Stephen Curry, but kind of think about how Curry had that impact on the market and everything in the NBA when he rose to stardom in the Bay Area. I don't think Ant would have that type of impact, but close to it.
Yeah, I mean, he'd make back-to-back Western Conference Finals. The West is going to have to. They're going to have to make it. They're going to have to answer. They're going to have to. That's 2 straight years that he's representing one team in the Western Conference Finals. I think for the Thunder, for both of these guys, for the Thunder they got SGA. For the Timberwolves they have Ant. They're both in that top 5 upper echelon of players in the NBA. And if they punch their ticket to the finals, what that means is it reminds me of 22 when Tatum got his first finals appearance. It's like this guy's not going anywhere. There's nothing you can do about it. He's going to be here. He's going to be here for a long time. He might not win it right away, but this guy is getting ready to be in those conversations for being a perennial championship contender. And both these guys, I think, can do that. Wow, 42 in the building. Thank you guys all for listening. Hop over to YouTube if you want. But thank you guys all for listening and tuning in. But I think more for SGA. If SGA punches his ticket, he's obviously best player in the league. And if he wins his finals and he wins the finals MVP, he kind of cements that. And kind of same how Jokic did a couple years ago when he won his finals and finals MVP. But I think, yeah, that's what it would mean for both of these guys is that more, not really for the city, but more for these players that they have these two superstars that they can build around. And both these teams kind of went through a little bit of rebuilding. You got the Thunder that they didn't blow it up, but they retooled. They got rid of Paul George. They got SGA and a boatload of picks, and then they just kind of built on from there. And then you got the Timberwolves that made that big trade in the offseason. People were wondering what they were doing with that. And yeah, they both kind of made their mark, and yeah, now they both have a chance to go to the finals. All right. So if you're starting a team right now, you're going to build around one of these two guys, SGA, Anthony Edwards. Who are you guys going to pick? For right now in their career, you just get to start brand new, build a team around one of these guys for the rest of their career, starting right now. Who would it be? Josh, we'll start with you.
Well, personally, I think, in my biased opinion, I'm going to go Shea because I've watched his improvement throughout his time in the league. Thank you, Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang agrees, rightly so. Shea, man, I mean, where do I begin without sounding like a fanboy
Laser.
here? I mean, since his rookie year, I watched him a little bit with the Clippers, believe it or not, because I wanted Oklahoma City to draft him. Thought he was crafty, thought he was able to get to the bucket pretty well. Not much of a shot, showed a little bit of like two-way like flash here and there, but just very, very raw. And got to Oklahoma, really started developing that mid-range game, which he had some going on through college and in his time with the Clippers, but he really started getting that going. His like playmaking ability also got better. Then year after year, he just kept stacking things on. He really cemented himself in the interior and got better as a defender. And then this year, he's been throwing up many, many threes and is actually having some success, unlike the last couple. So it's been really neat to watch. And there's like ups and downs, and there's a little bit of stagnation, but you could see he just works and works and works constantly to get better. And I think at the guard position, it's hard to convince me otherwise that he's obviously top three offensively, and then point guard position, I think he's top five, man. I think he might be the best two-way guard in the game.
For sure. Rob, what do you think? Out of the two, who are you picking?
I hate to agree with Josh, but I mean, I think this is pretty obvious. Shea is, I mean, no disrespect to Anthony Edwards. He's a great player, but Shea, I mean, we're talking about a guy that's at worst probably a top three player in the league. I'd have him number two. And if he wins this championship, I mean, it's going to be hard to argue against him being the best in the world. He's coming off. They said they're going to announce the MVP today, which we all know it's probably going to be SGA based on the votes that we've seen so far. Some of it was leaked. He was leading Jokic like 32 to 15 in first place votes. So he's probably going to run away with that award, as he should. I mean, he led his team to 68 wins, averaging 33, 6, and 5. His efficiency was through the roof. He's an elite defender, elite playmaker. And really, like
Nobody
Josh
asked
was
about
saying,
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson, this guy's a clown, man. Like Josh was saying, I mean, every year in the league, Shea has improved something. Like he added the mid range. He's gotten better and better as a defender every year. And then the one thing you were kind of worried about is that 3-point shot. And now this year he's averaging almost 6 3-point attempts a game, and he's shooting it at a 38% clip. I mean, he has no flaws in his game.
But you guys don't think like when Ant maybe develops, I mean, he's how old is he? 23? This guy's only been in the league for like what, 3, 4 years. So you don't think in the future that he can be able to get to Shea's level and be able to lead a team? Because if you let's argue you put Anthony Edwards in his prime on this OKC team, do you think it looks better? Do you think it looks worse? What do you think? We'll start with Josh.
I think I think it looks about the same. I think Anthony Edwards at his peak is going to be about the same player. I just think we're seeing it right now with Shea, and that it's just hypothetical with Ant-Man at this point. I mean,
Right.
he's trending in that direction. He's shooting like Stephen Curry this season. So if he shoots like Steph Curry, I mean, I think it's hard to deny that he'll probably be at the same level, if not overtake Shea, in terms of just ability as a player. Because having that range and volume of 3-point shooting is just remarkable when you also have the athleticism to drive down the lane and yam on anybody. So I think it could be Ant. It's hypothetical right now. I think he needs a little bit of a better team. Maybe his team is pretty good, and it would be better with Shea at the helm. Who's to say? But I don't know. I think they will be about the same caliber player at the end of the day.
Sorry, Skylar. We hate Jalen Brunson because, I mean, they just beat us. So I got a sick taste in my mouth. But what up, Sky? Rob, tell me.
It's not even hate, man. I mean, like he's good, but he's not on the level of these guys that we're talking about. I mean, hold up.
He's
I think
close.
Brunson and Ant are kind of on the same level, but Shea
Yeah,
is a tier above both.
yeah, for sure.
But as for the
Way
question,
long stuff.
um, I think if you replace SGA with Ant, I think the Thunder would be worse. As of right now. Maybe
Yeah.
for the future, it wouldn't be that much of a difference, but as of right now, I think they'd be quite a bit worse. He's just not the
I,
playmaker. He's just not the playmaker that SGA is. He plays too out of control. He's not as reliable. Like SGA is like the king of consistency right now. Every time you look at an SGA stat sheet, he has 30 points.
His whole life consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what you're saying, Rob, like we'll get into about Ant's fourth quarter yesterday, but yeah, SGA just has a more polished game. We got Ant going 0 for in the fourth quarter, and you just can't do anything. SGA can play make. SGA, obviously, the whole defense is locked
and
in
they
on SGA. And even when they can't guard him, he's just going to flop and he's going to get his 2 free throws. So, you know what I mean? He's just unguardable at this point, just like Jalen Brunson.
we love Ant-Man here. He's a fan of the podcast. But
Like you said,
I
SGA, he's either getting a bucket or he's throwing himself on the ground and going to the free throw line. Either way, he's scoring.
Go ahead, Josh.
personally, I'll disregard that nonsense that just came from Rob. But personally, I say what I do just mainly in like I think the playmaking element would not be lost just because shout out to Case and Wallace. He's looked exceptional in this playoffs, playmaking wise. His playmaking vision has been excellent. He's been making excellent finds everywhere, getting himself open. And then Jalen Williams, of course, as well. That's the reason I think they would be able to do about the same. But I do think if you put SGA on the Timberwolves, they look a little bit better as well. So
Yeah, probably. All right. We're going to talk a little bit about Anthony Edwards. Just complete. There's probably a missing person report out there for him in the fourth quarter. You got Alex Caruso just locking in on defense. Those, like him getting above those screens, he doesn't even wait for the screen to get set. He's already in your grill. He's already underneath you. I thought that was some of the best defense that I've seen guarded on Anthony Edwards. He totally took him out of the game last night when they really needed it. Granted, he was in a little bit of foul trouble, Ant was, but completely when Minnesota needed a bucket, they didn't have anybody to turn to. They were chucking shots. DiVincenzo, what are you doing, man? You're going like 3 for 17 from 3. You're not in New York anymore. It's not that. Um, let's talk a little bit about Anthony Edwards' disappearance in the fourth quarter. We'll start with Josh.
I mean, yeah, it was Ant too, but man, that whole team was kind of rough. I mean, like you were saying with DiVincenzo, 7 for 36 between Naz Reid, DiVincenzo, and Nickeil Alexander Walker. I mean, it was awful, and
Pitiful.
I feel a little bit for Ant and Julius. I mean, what do you expect Rudy to do? And Mike Conley at this point. Like I love Mike Conley. I enjoyed when he competed against Oklahoma City in the past, but they're running out the course of Mike Conley to do things they need a real point guard to do, and it's shameful stuff. And we saw why last night. It was just a complete collapse in that fourth quarter. Ant was, like you said, just getting put through it by the guys, and Caruso was terrific. You got to shout out. Lou Dort, Caruso, Case and Wallace, Jalen Williams are always fighting over screens, always. And we know screens nowadays, not a single one isn't moving, but these guys,
That's
they do
facts.
the rest around them, which is sick.
Rob, let's hear it.
All right, so I was disappointed by Ant's fourth quarter to not score and only put up one shot in a fourth quarter when the game was still in reach at the start of the quarter. I mean, it's pitiful. If we saw this from other players, the criticism would be a lot louder. But
Like JT, for sure.
like Josh was saying, I mean, what do you really expect from Ant when him and Julius Randle are the only guys that show up to play? Nikhil Alexander Walker had a horrible game. Dante DiVincenzo had a horrible game. Jaden McDaniels, he didn't have a bad game, but he only put up 5 shots. And then you have Rudy Gobert, your max contract center, on the court doing nothing. He wasn't guarding anyone. He was getting cooked by Chet and Ihart.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's giving you nothing on offense. So it's just Julius Randle and Ant out there playing 2v5. Randle had a huge first half, but then he cooled off in the second half. So at this point, I mean, like, and another thing for the Timberwolves, like, you want to keep the Thunder out of transition because if they're in transition, they're the best team in the league. They're going to kill you. But even if
Mm-hmm.
they're playing half court, if it turns into a 1v1 ISO game, I still think the Thunder are going to win because Shea and Jalen Williams were just cooking in the second half.
Yeah.
And then you have 5 different bodies that you can throw at Julius Randle and Ant, and nobody else is giving you anything. It's like pick your poison. You need the role players to show up, or they don't have a chance at all.
Let's talk a little bit about that front court. So first half, you got Ihart going off. I think he had 10 or 12 points in the first quarter. And then in the third quarter, you got Chet Holmgren having a big end of the third quarter. I think he had like 9 in the third. What I thought going into this series is that Minnesota might have that edge in the front court battle with Gobert and Julius Randle. Both were coming off pretty good playoff runs. Gobert just should be able to bully his way into getting rebounds. But what we saw was I thought throughout the game that that the Thunder were better going small and just having one of their bigs out there and just kind of spreading that team out and not letting Gobert just sit down in that like or their player sitting in the dunker spot so Gobert is just kind of roaming. Let's talk a little bit about that front court, what you saw from yesterday and what you kind of expect to see for the rest of the series. Let's start with Josh.
What I saw yesterday is more or less what I expected from Oklahoma City's front court. I mean, you and I had different expectations of these guys. I figured the stretchiness of Chet would be a little bit harder to deal with, even though, I mean, Julius Randle, I did not expect to look like Brian James Harden last night. He was snapping, at least in that first half. I expect to see more or less the same throughout the series. I think that Rudy will probably step it up defensively and on the boards. He looked just, I don't know, just beat last night by what Oklahoma City was running. Like you said, the single big, just not allowing him to feel comfortable defensively was huge for the Thunder, not letting him entrench himself. I mean, allowed them to get all those paint points. I think going forward, it's going to be a lot on Hartenstein to just kind of mitigate what he does on the boards, just box him out well. Randall's, I think, I don't know what to expect from him at this point because I was expecting not much and he gave a lot. So I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a big battle, and I think it'll be very decisive in this series, a little more so than people will give it credit for.
Let's hear it, Rob.
I mean, Rudy Gobert needs to show why he's a four-time DPOY. You're considered one of the greatest defensive players of all time. You got to give something on the defensive end. You got to slow down Ihart and Chet, and you got to at least give your team 10 to 12 points on offense. Because 2 points and 3 boards is not going to cut it, especially when Ihart and Chet are shooting 60, 70%. Julius Randle has actually really surprised me with the playoff run that he's had because during his Knicks years, he was always a playoff dropper. Like he always got worse in the playoffs. And now he's having the best playoff run of his career by far. I think he has playoff career highs across the board. He's averaging around 24 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and he's shooting the three ball really well. Like Josh said, I don't think he's gonna have another James Harden type of game, but he's gonna find his spots. You know, he cooks in the mid range sometimes. He can get to the rim, draw some fouls. But Rudy Gobert needs to show why he's that four-time DPOY. And if he doesn't, then they're probably going to get swept. They have to win the
All
front
right.
court battle.
All right, we'll wrap up with this series. I think we all just give me your Western Conference Finals MVP. We'll just keep it short. Start with Josh.
I'm going Shea. I think he's gonna lead this team to the victory. That's it. It's easy.
Rob.
It's got to be Shea. I mean, I'd be shocked if the Thunder don't win the series. And if they're going to win the series, it's probably going to be because Shea led them there, putting up his usual numbers around 30 points, 7 or 8 assists, 7 or 8 rebounds, defense.
Rob, you're cutting out a little bit, but
You may be wrong.
my pick for Western Conference Finals MVP is obviously going to be SGA. I think, yeah, he's just going to will his team. I think we're going to get more of that regular season SGA where he's just going to kind of elevate his game. We're going to see those 30-point games from him more often than what we were seeing earlier in the playoffs. But yeah, I think we'll get that prime SGA form. I think he'll will them to an NBA championship, but time will tell. He's got to get through the Thunder or got to get through the Timberwolves first. But yeah, that's our pick. I'm glad we can all agree on something for once. Let's move over to the East.
Tort.
Pace Lou Dort. Yeah, okay.
Ooh. And Scott, before we continue on, Skylar, there is a little bit of credit to what you're saying here. I mean, if he's getting pushed around by Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein, also, I mean, he's not soft, but he's not the toughest center. I mean, that says something about your grit and determination on the defensive end. It's definitely. I mean, coming
What
from
Luka
Chet,
did to him last year, Luka was killing that guy.
Definitely shouldn't have.
man,
He definitely
yeah,
shouldn't have 4 DPOYs. I know that.
That's for sure. All right, let's move over to the East.
Yeah.
Pacers, Knicks. Let's get your guys' predictions for the series, what you guys expect, kind of like what we did for the first series. Is this kind of a rivalry is what we'll go over? Is it kind of like the rivalry of what we saw back in the day? But let's start with your guys' series predictions and what you guys can expect. Rob, let's start it off.
All right, I'm expecting a slugfest, a really chippy series early on, which is going to continue into a long series. I think the series goes 7 games.
I like that.
These fan bases don't like each other. Obviously, we know all the history going back to the 90s and even before that, the 70s and 80s. But
That's when Gene was born, right? In the 70s?
I think the Knicks are going
Old
to pull
ass.
this one off. Was it the 70s? I thought it was the 60s. But I think the Knicks are going to take this one in 7. I think it's going to, like I said, these teams are really evenly matched, man. And then the Pacers, like we weren't expecting this from the Pacers. For the Pacers to win the series, I feel like they need to get out in transition. They need to get out in transition, push the pace. Tyrese Halliburton needs to be a wizard with the basketball like he's always been. Um, and I think they're gonna need Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton? Oh my goodness. What the Halle Berry? Anyways, they're going to need Cyrese Halliburton to up his scoring. He's going to need to average like 25 points a game in this series if they're going to want a chance to win. But I just think the Knicks, I don't know, man. I hate to say it, but it just feels like a year for the Knicks. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they're going to get to the finals. I think Jalen Brunson's going to will them through this series. They need Cat to step up. He wasn't that good against the Celtics, but they didn't need him to be because, our team gagged. And then Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, they're all going to do their thing. I think they find a way to slow down the game. And once it becomes a half court game, I just think the Knicks are going to beat the Pacers. Jalen Brunson's the best player in the series. Knicks in 7.
Josh, you're up.
Me personally, I hate to say it, Pacers fans, but I think it comes down to health. And I think that's been kind of the determining factor on most of the Pacers matchups recently. Man, I just the Knicks. We know Thibs. We've talked about this before. He's going to roll his starters out for the entirety of the game. So either you're going to get them gassed or they're going to be not feeling 100%, and that's how you're going to beat them, or they're just going to fall flat, and that's how you're going to beat them. But otherwise, they're going to come out firing. They've got shooters. They've got, a killer defense on the wings. The Neesmith and Nimhard combo and Obi Toppin are going to have a much harder time against the wing duo from New York, unlike the corpse of DeAndre Hunter and Dean Wade from Cleveland. So they're going to have a much harder time there. I think that the Knicks are going to really work on them defensively, and I think it's going to be Knicks in 6. I do think we're going to see good games from the Pacers because they have been shooting terrifically, and I can't discredit them there. They've been playing terrific ball. They've been moving the ball around a lot. That's usually going to lead to successful play. So it would take a lot from the Knicks defensively, but we know their 5 can do it. And, if they can get those bench contributions like they were last series, I think they're going to handily take the Pacers this year.
All right. I'm not going to be like y'all. I'll never say that the Knicks are going to make the finals. I'm going to take Pacers in 6. I don't care what my brain says. I'm going with my heart here. Pacers in 6. I could just see them put in that boy Cat and Brunson in those pick and rolls and just they're going to be saying that what the hell he too. That boy Halliburton's going to be hitting those step backs. I see Miles Turner having a big series. They're just deeper than I think that the Knicks are. I think that depth is going to show. That offense, they're going to be scoring 130 points a game. Those are not the games that the Knicks want to get into. Shut up. I just don't see the Knicks being able to keep this momentum that they have had. I see the Pacers stopping it. I don't think anybody wants to give them their respect this year, but Pacers are going to make their finals appearance, and we're going to be singing to, or we'll be having our own Knicks funeral here in a couple weeks. Don't worry about that. Just wait on that. Who do you think has the momentum going into this series? We'll start with Rob.
Now, this is a tough one because the Pacers are coming off a 5-game series win against a 64-win Cavs team.
Right.
But the Knicks are coming off of their first second-round series win in 25 years. And they did it against the team that they probably hate the most.
Yep.
I feel like it has to be the Knicks. First Eastern Conference Finals appearance in my entire lifetime, which tells you a lot. But, biggest series win in 25 years. They got all the momentum. They're already burning down the city. They've only won 2 rounds. They're already causing ruckus in New York. But they've already peaked. But they do it.
They did the same thing for the Yankees last year.
They have the momentum. They have the momentum, but that momentum's going to die out. They've peaked too early.
Josh, who's got momentum?
I mean, like Rob said, man, they kind of both got motion. You got
Who's got more
Pacers.
motion?
I mean,
Who's getting the baddest chick? Who's got the most motion?
man, I was gassing up those Cavaliers all season, man.
Yeah.
But it's hard to give. I don't know. Pacers were just lights out. They didn't even give the Cavaliers a chance to crawl out of their little injury hole that they were in. So I'm gonna say Pacers just because they were firing. I thought the Celtics showed a little resolve against the Knicks, and you know what? The Knicks had to claw their way back for a lot of victories, which I mean that's a momentum booster. That'll give you a little bit of confidence, but there is that little that thought in the back of your mind. Whereas the Pacers look pretty dumb.
For sure. Honestly, I think the Pacers have momentum out of everybody. They had that game one steal where Halliburton hits that three. You got Halliburton playing I mean, he's not scoring well, but you could just see the flow of their offense is clicking. You got Nemhard cooking. I could just see them keep this momentum going. I think the Knicks, like you said, Rob, they might have peaked too early. They might be looking past Indiana. And Knicks fans, don't get too ahead of yourself, man. You guys aren't gonna. It doesn't matter unless you win a banner or raise a banner. You guys might put up a little
Bro, Knicks
ECF.
fans are fine. Knicks fans are fine. They already won their championship. They're good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They get the
Raise the
rings for
banner.
that.
Give them their rings. They beat the Celtics in the second round. That's all they care about.
I mean, obviously Tyrese Halliburton is the better player. He got that max contract. He's not signing for like $115 million. So just based off money alone, I think Tyrese Halliburton's the better player. Bigger deal. You know what I mean?
Is that how that works? Ask Damian Lillard how that's going.
All right. Do you guys think that this is a rivalry or just another series? Is this going back to the 90s? Are we going to see, like Rob said, going to be a super chippy series, or are we just going to just kind of give me your take? Do you think it's a rivalry or not? Rob, start us off.
I think it's a rivalry. I mean, the NBA's kind of already been pushing it. If you remember back when they had the Jalen Brunson and the Tyrese Halliburton little cameo in the WWE. So they've already kind of been trying to put these guys against each other. We had the long 7 game series last year, which the Pacers ended up winning in MSG, and now we're getting the rematch this year. Reggie Miller's going to be in the building. We know Knicks fans absolutely hate him, and for good reason. He owns their team. I really think it's going to be chippy. I don't think these teams like each other. I really don't. I think there's like kind of a mutual respect. They don't like each other.
Josh, what do you think? Josh. All right, maybe Josh cut out here. Um, I think this is a rivalry now. By like for sure it is. I mean, you saw last year goes game 7, all the guys screaming at Reggie Miller saying fuck you, Reggie, fuck you, Reggie. Reggie's like, why is he saying fuck me for? You know what I mean? He's not even playing. Um, I think it is a rivalry, though. I think that you'll see these guys going at it for years to come in the NBA playoffs. This is just the start. You got last year, and then got this year in the ECF. It's kind of reminding me of who's going to be these juggernauts in the East for the next few years and who the Celtics are going to have to play. Um, but yeah, Josh, you're back. Can we hear you now?
Hello, can you? There we
Yeah,
go.
Josh is back. Josh is back.
There we go. Okay.
All right, Josh, give me your take. Is this a rivalry or not?
Personally, I mean, I think respectfully, it's as close as a rivalry you're going to get with the Knicks. I mean, they kind of had like a little pseudo one with the Hawks that was kind of one-sided. It felt like, or at least with just Trae Young. But otherwise, they don't really have much going on right now, other than I guess with the Celtics. So, I mean, give it to the Pacers. They've been here last year. They've been making some noise. They showed out and played excellent ball again this year. So like Rob said, they had that little bow, WWE. So they're already putting the top guards in the Eastern Conference against each other. Other than like Dame, they're kind of clear cut the best in my opinion.
For sure.
So it was kind of natural, I think, and like Rob said, the fans definitely don't like Reggie and some of the Pacers in the past. So I think New York's definitely looking for beef with anybody, but especially with Pacer fans. So I call it right.
All right. We're going to talk the two stars of the series, Tyrese and Jalen. Who's going to be the
Knicks
bigger
fans
X
just want to
factor?
riot, man.
I think you're right, Rob. I think you're right. They just want to have fun with their homies out in the city. They don't even want to win a championship.
They just want to burn down the city, bro. That's it. The
Win or
longer
lose.
the longer their playoff run goes on, the more riots they can incite. And that's, I mean, if you're a New Yorker, that's like heaven on earth. You just want to cause mayhem in the streets.
If they burned down New York, it would just smell like Black and Miles, Timberlands, and a bunch of trash on the street.
New Yorkers, if you're in the comments section, let us know what you smell. Let us know what it smells like outside. It smells like grass and ocean.
All right, who's going to be the two biggest X factors in the series, and who's your pick for Eastern Conference Finals MVP? We'll start with Rob.
Biggest X factor for me for the Knicks, I got to go Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart is the Knicks. I just posted about this recently, actually. I think Josh Hart is the Knicks' third best player over Mikhail and OG, and he just doesn't get the credit for it. He gives you everything on the court. He scores, he rebounds, he defends at a high level. He's grabbing every loose ball. He's a really good playmaker. He gets to the rim. He shoots the three. Like he's a jack of all trades. Like he's kind of like that Draymond Green, but of the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
So for the Knicks, it's easily Josh Hart for me. And then for the Pacers, I think you got to go Andrew Nemhart. Remember last year he kind of bursted onto the scene in the playoffs, and then especially after Halliburton went down in the conference finals, Nemhard really took off. He wasn't able to lead them to any wins in that series, but he had a few really good games and some competitive losses against the Celtics. They need another big series from him. If he can give them a few 20-point games, that would be a good boost. And then a playmaking boost would be clutch as well if they get that out of him.
Joshua?
Personally, I would tend to agree with Rob, but I'm going to go and say OG Anunoby over Hart this series, just because I think that the Knicks are really going to need his offense and defense this series. I think they're going to need him to really shut down one of those wing players, whether that be Toppin, Nemhard, or Neesmith. Just one of those guys has got to stop scoring. I think OG is going to be a big part of that. I think that his offense too, if he can give them at least 20, they look like a different team completely. Because he's doing it from all over the court. He's getting Brunson better looks. He's getting Cat better looks. He's making the defense more honest. He's kind of like that Swiss Army knife on offense, I think. So if he can really get it going, I think it's going to look like a different series. I think it's going to be an easy win for the Knicks. But on the flip side here, I think that if Pascal Siakam is dominant and really gets things going, and if he really bullies Cat, and they have to try and roll out Mitchell, and that is probably going to cause problems for the Knicks as well. I mean, between Turner and Siakam, I think the Knicks front court is going to have a load of trouble, and I think Siakam will absolutely be driving that. So I think the series rests solely on his shoulders.
I think I'm just going to go with Jalen Brunson. I think if he has like a 30-point, if you remember last year in that series that they had, I think he dropped 40 in 2 games, and he was averaging 30 across the whole series, or maybe it was like 28 or something like that. But if it's any kind of rematch from last year and it's going to be the same thing, then I think Jalen Brunson's just going to be going off. You got to keep him from being scoring 40 points, scoring 35, 40 to be able to have a chance in this matchup. I do see him, if they win, which I'm not going to say they are, that he'll win Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Tyrese Halliburton would have to average like 25 points and 10 assists for them to really be having a chance and to dominate in this series. But yeah, I think Jalen Brunson's going to be the easiest Eastern Conference Finals MVP pick that we'll have in the last few years. But I don't think I heard you guys Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Who do you guys think it's going to be? Start with Rob.
Jalen Brunson. So I got the Knicks in 7. Jalen Brunson's he's gonna have to be the MVP. If Jalen Brunson isn't the best player on the Knicks, then they can't win this series.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you
Josh?
said, he's probably gonna average around 30. If it does go to a game 7, though, like I'm predicting, the Knicks better hope that they don't get another game 7 Brunson performance. Because if they do, they're gonna lose. That was an absolute atrocity he put up last year.
I remember that. Josh, you're up.
Fortunately, I am not deviating. I'm also going to have to say Jalen Brunson here.
He broke his wrist.
They won't make that
What about
excuse
before
for
that?
anybody else. But anyway,
That was in the second half, bro. He was playing terrible up until that point. So I don't want to
The
hear
game
that.
was over at halftime, for sure.
but regardless, it's going to have to be him. The Knicks, I've established, I think, are going to take this series, and I think he's going to be leading that. It's just in my mind. Sorry, Cat, it's not going to be him. I don't think he's going to be successful against Indiana's personnel here. But I just wonder what makes our producer think this. But Knicks fans, if you're really convinced Cat's going to have a good series, let us know why.
Did you guys hear his fake New York accent after the series? Like he was trying to act like we haven't heard him talk like Daniel from our job for like however long. And now he's talking like he's from the Bronx for real. All right. Did y'all hear that? That was so
It's
bad.
such a
I
fake
can't
tough
believe
guy,
it.
man. Remember what Lucas said, man. Everybody acts tough when they're up. He's gonna be real quiet after they flame out. But hey, they'll still have that banner from beating the Celtics in the second round, so they'll hang on
After
to
all
that.
that, if the Knicks do win, what do you think's the deciding factor? Rob. Dang, we're at 70 in the building. Let's get us up to 100. That's what we're shooting for. But thank you guys all 70. Like, subscribe, share. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Rob.
Jalen Brunson, like I said, I mean, he has to have a massive series. I don't think Cat's gonna have a big series. I think Cat's gonna have a so-so series. He's not gonna play bad. He's gonna give you what you need him to give you. But Jalen Brunson's the star here, man. He has to bring it home. And don't sleep on Mitchell Robinson because Mitchell Robinson came into the game and really mucked everything up for the Celtics in that last series, especially in those comebacks, giving them second chance opportunities and everything, grabbing all those offensive rebounds, crashing the glass, getting easy looks at the rim and everything. So if they can't contain him, that could also be trouble for the Pacers. I almost think Mitchell Robinson has more of an impact on this series than Cat.
What?
Because Cat is a horrible defender, bro.
What?
If you
He's
just
not
bring,
great by any means, but
if you just bring
what?
Mitchell Robinson, bro, if you watched what they did to us, bro, they slowed down the game. They got second chance opportunities, and they just killed us in the paint. And it was mostly because of Mitchell Robinson. When he was out of the game, we were cooking him. He's the one that was getting those fourth quarter stops. Him and Mikal Bridges.
It sounds absurd. Like when he's not clicking offensively, maybe, but he gets playing time every now and then, and he's so situational. It worked well against you guys because Pingus was nowhere to be found. Like
So
I don't
true.
know. And not only that, just with the Pacers shooting, I just don't see Mitchell being a successful option for the Knicks, especially as opposed to Cat. Like
The
as much
Celtics
as I
have the same shooting. The shots just need to fall.
It was his sinuses. It was allergy season up in Boston and up in New York.
I heard he has AIDS, but that's neither here nor there.
Magic Johnson was good with AIDS, so
all those
maybe he
rumors.
will be too.
And that was
All
30
right,
years ago. I guess you would think he would be good to go, but I guess not.
let's move on off of basketball. We talked a lot about basketball in the past few episodes.
Mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about the Subway Series. I know Rob would want to talk about Juan Soto a little bit. Um, Yankees take 2 of 3 against the Mets. Mets are just kind of reeling right now, honestly. Uh, do you think Mets fans are worried after losing 2 or 3 from the Yankees, and then Soto also kind of just like dragging along in that series, not doing anything? Rob, give me a little something on that series.
I don't
What'd you
think
see?
Mets fans should be worried about it. Because I mean, you're playing an interleague game. Yeah, you lose 2 out of 3 against another good team. But overall, the Mets, I mean, like you said, they're in a little bit of a rut right now, but overall they're still in a good place on the season. That's I mean, they probably will be worried though, because if you know Mets fans, playing the Yankees is like their World Series. So if they lose that, I mean, they're already devastated. And then Juan Soto, I love what's happening with Juan Soto right now. You just love to see it. He's playing really good baseball in my eyes. He's been horrible with runners in scoring position. He's been one of the worst defensive outfielders in the league. I mean, you just love it. You love to see it.
When you know you're going to get $765 million, whether you play well or not, probably not going to give any effort anyways.
Soto's not even the best number 22 in New York right now.
Who is?
Ben Rice.
Did you that throw by Pete Alonso in game 3 of that series was where was he throwing it to?
Hilarious.
I've seen better plays in little league, like in by third and fourth graders, dude. Like that ball wasn't even close to trying to get anybody out at home plate. That was
You're talking
insane to
about that
see.
three hopper? I thought he was skipping rocks. I didn't know what he was doing.
Wasn't even close.
He can't read a fly ball. He can't throw. He can't hit. What can he do? He's making money though.
Josh, do you have anything to say about this series?
I mean, it's a regular season matchup. At the end of the day, are we going to go back? I mean, with as good as the NL is this year, maybe we will be going back in September and circling these dates and being like, well, why didn't Juan Soto try in this series? But I mean, my thoughts, it's Juan Soto. I mean, he definitely needs to lose the attitude, in my opinion. I think it'd be better for the clubhouse. I mean, I'm not gonna say like I know the first thing about the Mets clubhouse, but I mean, when you're acting pretty nonchalant about a series that, I mean, the fans are booing you. I mean, everybody wants you to do poorly, and well, from the New York Yankees side. I mean, don't you feel like you have a little bit of something to prove? And I feel like he didn't even go out and hustle to try and like negate his mid play. Like I don't know. Part might be a little bit disturbing, but otherwise, other than a little slump the Mets are going through, I don't think this is going to be the turning point for them. I don't think they're going to just slide out and have a poor season from here. I think they're going to be all right. I think it's just another regular season series that they just happen to lose to the Yankees.
Yeah, we'll touch on what our producer was popping up on. He had a ground ball. He doesn't even try to beat out. He's just slowly jogging through there. And then yesterday there was a double off the wall, and he's just jogging, and it's a single because he's not even he thinks it's gone, and then He's not even hustling at all. I don't know. For a guy that's getting paid that much money, you would think he'd be best player on the team, carrying this Mets team. And this Mets team, they got off to a hot start, but they're kind of reeling right now. We'll talk about last night's little ejection. Did you guys see that? Walker Bueller comes back out on the
Yeah,
mound and then has two and a third no hit innings and gets tossed
right
when a
down
ball
the
gets thrown right down the middle, bro.
right down the pike. Shameful stuff. I mean, sorry to just kind of launch into it, but I'm more of a pitching enthusiast myself, and to see just a ball so blatantly down the middle, like getting thrown out for it just for a little couple curses at the ump, like he's never heard that before. I mean, grow a pair, man. That's all I gotta say. Like I don't really want robo umps, but by God, implement the challenge system ASAP because these guys need a little bit of humbling. It's ridiculous. That's
I
all I gotta say.
understand the umpires want to have all the control over the game, but when you're blatantly messing up calls and guys are calling you out for it, like you should just have to take it on the chin.
Part of the job.
The pitch was right down the middle. We all saw it. He threw it right. He threw it right
A
down the
slider
middle.
down the
They
middle.
called it a ball, and then I mean, obviously, you read his lips. It's right down the effing middle. Fuck you. Rightfully so. I mean, it's right down the middle, man. I don't know about the robo umps thing because it would kind of. I mean, you don't want to mess up the tradition of baseball and everything,
Right.
but at least, like do a challenge system. I know they were implementing the challenge system we needed in the regular season because
For sure.
I mean we see this almost every day. Umpires just messing up the game, and then when the players and the managers call them out on it, they get their egos hurt and they want to throw them out of the game. It's BS. Take it on the chin. You messed up.
I mean, the
And
ump.
they're
I don't even
never
think
held
he
and they're
saw the
never held
pitch.
accountable. These refs, I mean, the umpires are like never held accountable for it either.
You got our catcher because Lindor's stealing second on that play. So our catcher gets up and he's trying to throw him out. I don't think the ump even sees the pitch, and he's just like, "All right, we're just going to call it a ball." I don't even know.
He
I'm
couldn't.
just going to call it a ball.
It was a
It's
slider.
ridiculous.
It was a slider down the. It had to break over the plate to the like. It was just the most absurd call I had seen in a little bit, and
I
that's
love to
just
see the
the thing
intensity,
because
though.
it's not been that long.
I love to see the intensity in a May game. May freaking what? It's a Tuesday night game. We're getting thrown out. Both our manager and starting pitcher.
Coming
That's
off
just
the
Boston for
IL,
you.
there you go, Walker.
I mean, we have a chance to sweep the Mets. The Mets lost two straight. They can't even put runs on the board. 2-0 win, and then I think it was 4-1 the game before. Um, yeah, the Mets are just struggling right now. Give me your
If
take on
you're
the
getting
Mets.
if you're getting swept by the Red Sox, you're kind of trash.
This early. Let us get our stride going.
But the Mets, I mean, they came out red hot. They're kind of sputtering now. They've fallen out of first place in their division as the Phillies have taken over. They've been red hot. They've won 8 of their last 10, while the Mets are 4-6 in their last 10, and they've lost three straight. And I mean, it kind of has to start at the top, like you said. Juan Soto gets this massive contract. He comes in, he's supposed to be the guy, and then not only has his play been disappointing, but his attitude and everything in the clubhouse has also been disappointing. You could argue that Juan Soto hasn't even been a top two player on that team with Lindor and
No,
Pete Alonso in there,
for real.
and he's making $50 million a year. I mean, if you're gonna go through a rough patch with your play, you at least need to be a great teammate and good in the clubhouse. And he's
Hmm.
been neither of those things. And overall, the Mets are just struggling right now, so they got to do something to try to mix it up and get and right the ship. Hopefully, they don't though. They can just continue being the little brother.
Let's talk a little bit about Cody Bellinger. This guy in left field has just been producing for the Yankees. Give me your take on him, Rob. You hear me? You guys there?
You said your take on Bellinger.
What is
Yeah.
going on?
Sorry about that, guys.
At
No,
this,
you're good.
out of all the off-season acquisitions that we had, I kind of felt like Cody Bellinger might be the most impactful when he signed. But when he came in, he kind of had a rough start to the year. He had the home run early in the season. I think it might have been the first game. And then after that, he kind of went into a rough patch. But since then, he's been starting to heat up. The average is creeping up there, almost 260 now. I know he was below 200 for a good portion of the season. And now the power is starting to come together. And then we kind of saw it in the Subway Series. He had 7 hits, a couple of homers. I mean, he was just red hot. And then, I mean, the Yankees, they've needed production in left field for a while. Because after Brett Gardner left, they really haven't had anyone in left field.
You didn't like Verdugo?
Verdugo wasn't bad, but he wasn't that impactful. Believe it or not, since 2021, Cody Bellinger has a higher WAR than any other Yankees outfielder. I mean, not outfielder, left fielder.
What? Oh. I was like, that doesn't make any
You
sense.
almost got me. Cody Bellinger has a higher WAR than any Yankee left fielder over the last 5 years. Accumulation of 5 years. And he's only played, what, 50 games?
It's
So he
impressive for
hasn't
sure.
been that he hasn't been that good, but he has been that upgrade that we've needed in left field. And he's really starting to get hot now, so hopefully he can keep it going and end up putting together a good season.
All right, we're going to move off of Cody Bellinger. We're going to talk a little Paul Skenes, probably the best pitcher in baseball. This guy's been kind of in trade talks lately, which is kind of weird. But obviously, you just see this guy. He's a star player on the Pirates. The Pirates, he has a game the other day where he gives up 1 run. Pirates can't even put up more than, they put up a goose egg, and he loses the game. So give me your take on Paul Skenes. Is he too good for Pittsburgh? Is Pittsburgh going to keep, or are they going to try to hold on to him or try to deal him? What do you guys think? Josh, start us off.
So this is an interesting conversation, right? Because this just happens to be about Pittsburgh's ownership, right? And I can't think of the owner's name off the top of my head, but by God, is this one of the cheapest owners in the game for years on end. Them, the Rockies, the Orioles have put out just low payroll after low payroll teams, just not paying the players they should. It's why we see these instances where Skenes pitches lights out and has goose eggs from his team because they have no offense because ownership isn't willing to spend on it. He's been remarkable. I mean, nothing short of it, at least what I expected of him. Maybe some more strikeouts, but otherwise the ERA is low. FIP's pretty low. He's got good amount of strikeouts already 62 for his 62 innings. That's pretty excellent. I think teams are going to be giving calls about Paul Skenes this trade deadline. I think they're going to see what Pittsburgh is going to be wanting because I think most ownership groups and management groups understand and know they're probably not going to pay this guy the exorbitant amount he's probably going to be wanting. So might as well trade and get prospects back in return. If I'm a Pittsburgh fan, I feel horrible about all of this because I'm torn because I would want the most value for Paul Skenes, but I would also not want to trade a generational arm, which is what he is. So it's a really difficult position for the fans. Obviously, ownership's going to do whatever they want, but this is the time they should be spending. They have some solid young guys. They got a rotation that's budding. I mean, they've got Bubba Chandler who will be coming up too. They have Jones. Can't think of his first name. I'm struggling this morning with names, but they have some solid arms in the rotation, young arms. They've got some solid young bats and they need to go and get a couple guys. They just have to spend the money, and that's totally contingent on whether they want to contend with Skenes or not.
Rob, you're up.
All right. Paul Skenes, I mean, he's been dominant,
I like
which is
that.
what we expected.
I hope not.
Thank you, Gene.
Absolutely
Thank
not.
you.
Paul Skenes, he's been dominant, which is what we expected. I mean, obviously, he came out last year. He was very good, one of the best pitchers in the NL. He got the start in the All-Star game. And then he's obviously the opening day starter this year, which everybody expected.
Absolutely.
And he's come out and he's been pretty much what we expect, 2.44 ERA, 62 strikeouts to only 16 walks. I did think his strikeout numbers would be a little bit higher, but overall, I mean, his pitching has been great. And then you have a 2.44 ERA and your win-loss is 3-5. Like, the rest of the team just has to help you out. Because you could have all the pitching you want. If your team can't put up any runs at all, I mean, and like you said, what it comes down to is their ownership. They're cheap because they have all these young prospects. I mean, we saw O'Neal Cruz come up a few years ago, a budding star, and now they have Paul Skenes, a budding star in the pitching rotation. Like, you got to try to actively put a good winning roster around these guys while they're still young because they're not making that much money yet. So you have to try to put the good team around them now while they're still on their rookie deals. And they're just too cheap to do it. They're probably going to end up trading Paul Skenes, getting a bunch of good prospects, and then they'll go through the same cycle again. They'll have a bunch of good prospects, maybe a star or two who will come up, and then they'll just have. It's happened with Paul Skenes right now, and it had Garrett Cole.
I'm going to jump in real quick because Rob, you're kind of cutting out a little bit. But to touch on what Gene said, the Red Sox have been linked with Paul Skenes a little bit just because of the boatload of talent that they have in the farm system. And I'm sold on just sell a farm, bro. It's Paul Skenes. Could be the best player in baseball other than Otani and maybe Judge, but the best pitcher in baseball for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? You pair him up with Crochet and you're set for the next 5-6 years at least. I mean, how many position players do you think it would take to get Paul Skenes? Josh?
My asking price for Paul Skenes would be outrageous. I'd be asking for at least one proven young arm, and I'm not talking like obviously Brian Wu or something. I'm talking like Andrew Painter coming out, Mick Abel, somebody like that, and at least another arm just in that same category that I'm asking for 2-3 bats in return. Like I want to make sure I'm propping myself up for success if I'm getting rid of Paul Skenes. Like there just shouldn't be a situation where you trade Paul Skenes. It seems like that is the situation. With this Pittsburgh ownership group. And in response to Wu-Tang, Anthony and Crochet for Skenes, I mean,
I don't think we would move off Crochet. I
don't think that would be
think Brian Bello is a name getting floated out there. Obviously, Roman Anthony being one of the best or being the number one prospect right now is getting thrown out there. Same with Marcelo Meyer. We got Christian Campbell. We got Sadon. A lot of young guys that this Pirates team could use and be starters for their team for the next few years. So that's why it's kind of getting floated around. Go ahead, Josh.
I think it resets their timeline a little bit, though. I think they got to move. They got to, again, look back and look to the future. If they choose to ever do anything, like they would have to refocus for a few years from now because, I mean, everybody's loading up, especially if you're getting rid of Paul Skenes. You're getting rid of I mean, I don't want to be this bold, but I mean, I feel like in the future he's going to be a guaranteed playoff win just from his starts alone. I think he's going to be one of those pitchers that we'll look at and be like, thank God for Paul Skenes, because the pitchers of old are gone. But this guy, I think he's going to be a workhorse, provided he can stay healthy.
Okay.
So, huge demand.
Rob, do you have anything real quick
Why don't we
before we
put-
move off the Skenes?
Why don't we put Paul Skenes in the Bronx, man? We need an ace with Garrett Cole out for the year. Give me Skenes. Then we get Cole back, have Paul Skenes, Garrett Cole, Max Fried. Come on, bro. That'd be one of the best top threes you've ever seen.
Why don't you just bring me the whole ocean? Like,
Livy Dunn
I
doesn't
will-
really seem like a New York
I
type
will
of gal. I
bleed.
think
I
they'll
will
eat her up.
bleed. I would bleed the entire farm system. Because let's be honest, the Yankees don't even know how to use their farm system. So what's the point in having these prospects? They don't know how to use the farm system anyway. They're not like the Dodgers and Astros that continuously bring up these young guys and develop them and turn them into great ball players. The Yankees can't develop for shit. Just get rid of all your prospects and get Skeens.
You might be right. You might be right. All right. So we're going to talk about the next thing in the pod is going to be the Olympics 2028. They just started flag football. So I want you guys to kind of give me one current player, one all-time player that you guys would like to throw on this Olympic team, and just kind of give me your points about him. We'll start with you, Rob.
All right, bro. I was cooking this up. I think I may have cooked up one of the greatest duos ever. Give me Lamar Jackson
Okay.
and Antonio Brown.
Howard
Lamar
boys.
Jackson and Antonio Brown. Who is guarding them? Absolutely nobody. Lamar Jackson, he's one of the shiftiest quarterbacks you've ever seen. I mean, this is flag football too. So you got to think about that.
Yeah.
Who is catching Lamar Jackson at the quarterback spot? Because he has a
Nobody.
cannon. And even if you get close to him, he's just spinning you out, he's juking you out. You're not touching him. And then you put Antonio Brown up there, who had arguably the greatest peak ever for a wide receiver. If we're talking about a 6-7 year peak. One of the most unguardable receivers you've ever seen. You can laugh all you want, bro. Go look up the numbers. This was an MVP candidate in his prime. He was the best wide receiver in football for at least 5 or 6 years.
Don't forget
Absolutely
Wu-Tang.
unguardable.
He's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Give me
Just
Lamar and
keep that in
Antonio
mind.
Brown.
yeah,
Bro, I hate the Ravens, and I'm still picking Lamar. Just keep that in mind. And you got to give me AB, bro. How long ago? I mean, that's why we're talking about a legend. He doesn't play right now. So it doesn't really matter how long ago it was.
Even though he's still in the is still in the news getting his chain
He hasn't played
snatched.
in years. We all know that.
All right, Josh, let me hear yours.
all right.
A legend. That's
A lot,
outrageous. That's
He's
an
definitely a
outrageous
legend.
take.
a lot of pushback from Wu-Tang here.
You got a Patriots fan saying he's a legend here. That's outrageous.
I mean, he never could beat us, so I don't mind
You
giving
could
him his
hate him all you
flowers.
want, but he's one of the best wide receiver talents this league has ever seen.
Absolutely. Josh, who's your player?
Give me Antonio Gates, baby.
Okay.
For no particular reason other than the fact that I enjoyed watching Antonio Gates play football, and dude was humongous and pretty excellent receiver. Like I said, that's more of just a passion pick for tight end. But I don't know. In all seriousness, maybe Mike Evans, just somebody you're not gonna jump up against. Larry Fitz, just somebody who's gonna come down with the ball always, because how physical are you really allowed to be in Olympic flag football? Yeah, Randy Moss, just anybody who gets up. And then, well, Rob kind of had an excellent pick with that Lamar Jackson pick. So I'm going to just go with my boy, Bo Nix.
I feel
Awful
like you don't
pick.
really need a guy that gets up though. Like,
Why not?
This is
He's always coming down with the
This is just flag football. If you can just outrun everybody, then you don't need to get up. They can't catch you. That's it.
You don't need to be fast. You can just jump. You
Yeah,
think
You're not
great
gonna
team
touch
dudes
him.
are jumping with Larry Fitzgerald? think Italian
But
dudes are jumping with
nobody,
Larry Fitzgerald.
nobody on that field is touching Lamar Jackson or Antonio Brown. Just know that. I got the greatest duo of all time.
All right, I'm gonna throw in my picks. I got two guys. Wu Tang already said my guy. My guy is Randy Moss from the all-time players. I just think
I like that.
that guy's speed, his jumping ability. You take the pads and the helmet off that guy. I
Rob
think he's
is
catching every ball in his freaking vicinity.
right.
And then my current player, I'm gonna go on the defensive side. Growing up, I played defense, so I like defense. I'm gonna pick one of Josh's team. I'm gonna pick Pat Surtain, PS2. I think in flag football, you kind of take the physicality out of it, and you just let a corner just put somebody on an island, and Pat Surtain does that to the best of anybody in the league. And yeah, Randy Moss, that was my first jersey as a kid. It's who got me into football. You got him catching one-handers over Darrell Revis. Guy just cooked the league for years to come, or for years and years. Yeah, that's easy for me. Randy Moss and then Pat Surtain. I like some defense. I think he would have a couple picks because nobody across the world is going to cook Pat Surtain if they can't do it in the league right now. So those are my two guys. Um, let's move on. We're going to talk NBA rookies. We just had the all rookie team come out. I want to kind of get your guys' take. If you were to redraft 2024 NBA draft, give me your top five. Who did you guys take? Give me a little something on them. Yeah, we'll start with Rob.
All right. This is a tough one. I don't know if I should start from the bottom or the top. I'm gonna
Should we
start from
go?
two. I'm gonna go from. Huh?
I was gonna say you could start with the Hawks or the Pistons. I feel like would make most sense, right? Because Pistons drafted fifth and Hawks drafted first.
Oh yeah. I wasn't even gonna go in terms of that. I was just gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or maybe
okay.
2 through 5 and then 1. It doesn't really matter. Give me
Okay.
my number. I'm gonna number 2 pick. I'll give you my number 1 last. Number 2 pick.
All right.
Give me the rookie of the year, Stephon Castle. You can't go wrong.
The Wizards. Why to the
He showed a
Wizards?
lot, of course. Number 3. Give me Alex Sarr. Number 4. Give me Zachary Shea from Atlanta. Number 5. This might be unpopular. Give me Isaiah Collier. And then
Interesting.
my number one pick, who was easily the best rookie last year. He didn't play much, but when he was on the court, easily the best rookie, Jared McCain.
Mr. Fingernails.
He's going to paint his nails. He's going to go in your building and give you 30. And then he's going to go make some TikTok dances in the locker room. And you're going to hate it. And there's nothing you can do about it because he's just that guy. And I knew he was going to be a star before he even came in the league. I watched him a lot in college. He's a big physical guard. He scores on all 3 levels. He can shoot the lights out the ball. He's a solid defender. He's quick with his feet. He can't be moved out of his position too easily. I mean, this guy, he just has it, man. He has the whole package. And the Sixers, obviously, we know how banged up they were this year. Missing Embiid, missing Maxey, missing Paul George. So Jared McCain was really able to show what he's made of early in the season, and we saw him put up some great performances. I actually saw him in Orlando earlier this year, and he had a huge game in that one when they were also banged up. Would McCain be I don't know if McCain would be a great fit with Atlanta, but I feel like teams mess up when they draft for fit. We saw it with the Warriors. You just need to draft for talent. Go get the best player available. Because worst case, you're gonna flip them and get something that you do need. And if you're gonna flip a guy, you need a guy that's more valuable. I
Josh,
know
let me
that
hear
was
yours.
that's why
All
we're
right.
doing a
So
redraft. Looking back, he's the best rookie.
That was definitely my bad. I misunderstood this a little bit. I was doing a little bit of drafting for fit here, but if we're just going like strictly five best
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah. Just pick
um,
your five best. I mean, you don't have to do fit.
I mean,
I'm
it
going
depends. Everybody
McCain.
drafts for their own thing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Either way, I'd still.
Some
Well, I
people
don't
like
know.
You're our
fit, some people
intellectual
like
guy
talent.
on the pod anyway, so take your take on it.
I won't claim that valor, but personally, I would go McCain. Um, like Rob said, he's a scoring threat. He's a big physical guard. He has his quirks, but I think he's generally going to be well. He's a pretty high floor. It would appear like from what we saw last season, it seems like he has a high floor. He seems like a safe pick. Um, in terms of his fit with Washington, I think it would be pretty good if that were to be the theory. Either way, I think he's number 2 for me. Number 3, I might. Number 3 is difficult for me because I think, in terms of raw talent, Sar does have a lot of raw talent. Um, but it's probably between Sar and Riza's Shea for me.
Yeah.
Both off the raw talent alone, both showed sparks last season. Sar a little bit more on the defensive end and just kind of all around play than like offensive, like scoring outputs. But he did have a couple games where he popped off. But I
Hmm.
think either one of them would be my 3 or 4 still, as much as a cop out as that may seem. 5. Zach Edey. He looked really good last year. I think what he needs to work on is very clear. He needs to work on some, maybe not even some type of shooting, but just being more comfortable handling the ball and passing out of double teams and moving and operating up in the high post. If he can like kind of get some moves to work down low, I think he's going to be excellent and a pivotal player for the Grizzlies moving forward. So I'd probably take Edie at that 5th spot, and then I'd take that boy Stephon Castle at 1. I think his defense is remarkable, and the shooting, the shot will come. It'll happen in the NBA. He's tall. He's a big guard. He's going to get his driving into the cup. So the shot will have to fly, unless he's just Ben Simmons or some strange outlier. He will develop some type of shot, and that'll take his value, I think, head and shoulders above the rest, unless McCain can really buckle down defensively.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, I'm gonna kind of do what you guys did, 2 through 5, and then we'll finish with number 1. Kind of similar to Josh's. I'm gonna take Jared McCain second. Big fan of his before even he was in the league. Him and his girlfriend had great TikToks. I was always watching. And then you know what happens when you and your girl break up? You get in the gym and you start working on your craft. And that's what happened. He went to Duke. This guy took off from there, was having big March Madness moments. Then he gets to the league, drafted what? 16th? Wasn't even supposed to be like a top 10 pick, and this guy still probably had one of the best runs of any rookie at any point of the season. I mean, he was lights out from 3, doing it very well. And he kind of gave the 76ers a little bit of hope for this year when their season, they can just tell that it was in the gutter. Um, Number 3, I'm going to go Alex Sarr, more because he had just a really good second half of the year. This guy he averaged 15 points per game post All-Star break. Another guy on the all rookie team, first team. Thought he was a really good pickup for the Washington Wizards. He's going to have a few more years to develop, and then he'll be the guy that they think he's going to be. Really good defensively. That's what I really like about him. Is the offense will come, but people don't play defense in the league anymore, and this guy steps up defensively. Then Zachary Ricochet. I'll take him number 3. He doesn't really wow me as a number 1 overall pick. I'm not going to lie. I do think he has some good shooting, some good defense. He will get it together too, but as a number one pick, I guess you're taking him for more his ceiling than his floor. But yeah, Zachary Richichet, he has a good career ahead of him for sure over there in Atlanta. My number 5 pick, I like a gritty guy. I like Jalen Wells from the Memphis Grizzlies, the second round pick, number 39th overall. I like a guy who's just going to fit. Memphis had a lot of injuries. You got a guy that your coach is like, all right, come on, come play some valuable minutes, and he really stepped up this year. Western Conference Rookie of the Month in November. This guy's 6'8". He's like kind of what you're looking for, the NBA norm, like a wing who plays 3 and D. Thought he really had some good boosts for Memphis this year. And 39th, and you're on the all rookie team. Congratulations, Jalen Wells. Make a name for yourself, buddy. Stephon Castle's going to be my number 1 pick. I guess it's not the pretty pick because he's rookie of the year, but still a guy who's going to be in that Spurs organization for a long time unless they trade him for like Giannis or something. But yeah, like you said, Josh, the shooting's going to get going. Another guy that's just the prototypical NBA player, going to make the right plays, comes from UConn, knows how to keep the ball moving, make good, sound basketball plays. Averaged almost 15 this year, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and he plays defense. Unanimous, all NBA All Rookie first team. Yeah, this guy's going to be a stud for them for a long time. But yeah, good NBA draft. I like that, boys. That's kind of our rookie segment of the week. We'll kind of wrap up here. Good episode 3. Really enjoyed. We topped out at 86, 87 viewers. Thank you guys. We appreciate your guys' support. Like and follow on Twitter on all the platforms. Come back and see us next week. We'll be actually on Monday. I was a little sick this week, so had to postpone. But yeah, it was good chatting. We'll see you guys next week. If you guys have any last things, say it real quick. But yeah, peace out, guys.
Yeah, man, we appreciate everyone for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube. And if you're watching on any other platform, try to watch us on YouTube next week so you can join the chat and talk to us. Give us your own hot takes and stuff.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys.
Oops, sorry.
No, go ahead, Josh.
I was just gonna say and add that we love hearing from you guys. Wu-Tang, thank you very much. You were very active in the chat today, so we like
Even though
the
you
we
don't
like
think
the Discord.
AB is a legend for some reason, which is odd, but you know.
But despite that, we appreciate your contributions as well. So thank you all.
Expect some big things coming from us. We're only going to go up from here. I mean, 3 guys, we just started doing this, so appreciate all you guys' love and support. Peace out, guys. Good show today. We'll see y'all
See you
soon.
next week.